Yeah, so the biggest one I had was with Kraft Heinz in Ontario, Oregon. So we had a French fry factory that Ore-Ida brand is a really big represent recognizable brand. The Ore-Ida brand is a recognizable brand in the retail space, and it was used to hold about 50% market share. And then through supply chain adjustments and supply chain issues, it actually got down to about the 36% market share. And that was when I got hired in to be on that Kraft Heinz team. And so right away, I recognized the big name that we had and the big brand that we had. And I looked at the lines of the opportunities that we had within in them. And the way it was mostly around wastewater treatment issues, where it was shutting down the facility, it wasn't able to run because within the permits that they had within the sites. And so number one, we had to get a fine line balance of operating within the permits that we had and making sure that we weren't losing, batter and oil and things that led into the TSS or TSS and the BOD loadings of the site. So once we were able to be more environmentally friendly and environmentally sound, and by setting the standards of not pushing potatoes or oil or batter down the drains, we're able to sustain our operation practices of discharging the Snake River. And so once we were able to do that and we were able to get people on board, then we started recognizing the opportunities that we had on the lines where we would throw away products where we didn't need to. So we had a huge waste reduction, about 10% processing waste, and a frozen waste production of 50% from 10% down to 5%. The reason why we did that is it was the most expensive in the process. As the product kind of goes from the wet side to the finished good process, it gets more and more expensive. And so to me, it was giving our team the information they needed to know that it's cost this much that we're throwing away. And then it gets significantly more expensive as it goes down the process. And then we made that visual to the team. And then we communicated to the team that if we were able to put this back into the bottom line of the business, we're able to increase, payments, increase OEE performance, increase capital expenditures for the site, and trust the business that we would do the right thing. And so when I was there for my 3 years, as we turned around the facility, we actually did about $30 million capital projects with oil reclaim, with batter reclaim, and with frozen waste, new equipment and packaging to reduce the amount of frozen waste. And the way we were able to is once we established those projects that came online and we were able to prove that we were worth being invested in, then we were able to get more money. And once again, like that's more on the equipment side, but it was more of a belief of the people. So that we set a vision that we would have no potatoes, no product, no water on the ground, and that we would be a ready to eat facility. Even though consumers would take our customers would take our products, and then still had a finished cook. But we approached it that we would not have water or product on the ground, and that any lost points would be eliminated, which obviously helped us out with our sanitation, our quality practices, and just holding ourselves to higher standards of processing that we had. And so we were able to do that from the floor level. But once again, it all starts by setting a vision with the team in a room and making sure that we have the right players in the room. And so that we have a diverse team in the room looking at the product or looking at the problems, and that not one problem will ever be solved by one person or one department, but that we all come together as a team and we look at it. So if there's a spill gate that needs to be done, it's obviously a mechanical thing and an operator thing. So then how do we ensure that we fix it, we maintain it, and then we hand it over to operations to sustain the process? And so that's how I've always looked at it is, we don't blame people. If you want to blame anybody, blame myself. I'm the leader of the site. It's my fault that we failed. But at the end of the day, it's also my responsibility to put together a plan and help the team recognize the opportunities that we have and not point fingers, but actually focus on solutions. And so I've done it within the room, setting up a plan, then going to the floor and actually seeing where the problem is, and then talking to the operators and making sure that they understand the things that we're trying to solve. And if they can get on board with us, you start doing things exponentially faster by having more and more people on board and looking at it, and then plugging into the different shifts throughout the night, and making sure that everybody is aware of the problems we're having.